Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's a momentous day today, friends, as we are starting Babylon 5, Season 1, Episode 1, the premiere, the beginning of it all, as we watch Midnight on the Firing Line. Oh, my friends. Okay, so full disclosure, ever since I started watching Star Trek the original series and The Expanse, two of my very first series here, the number one question that I've received in my comments section for both of those, have you seen Babylon 5? Full disclosure, I have never seen an episode of Babylon 5. I don't know. I know it exists, is basically the extent of my knowledge of Babylon 5. Don't know the characters, don't know the story. I know nothing about this. Going into this universe completely blind, and it feels awesome. I am ready for something brand new, friends, so thank you so much for the recommendations. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time we go live. And of course, if there's anything that we do, Babylon 5 included, that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. Not a fan of Patreon? Stick with us here on YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes about a day early, plus any bonus episodes we come up with. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to start a brand new adventure. Thank you so much for being here as we watch Babylon 5, Season 1, Episode 1, Midnight on the Firing Line. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And for the first time in a brand new set of stars, away we go! Ragish 3. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff.
Watch Commander Isla reporting for duty. You relieved?
Isla?
Jump point forming in Sector 3. Great Maker. Activating mines!
I'm assuming these are enemy craft.
Tell them we're under attack! Tell them it's the...
Alright, well, Ragish 3. Babylon 5, Earth Alliance. Damn it, that's so quick.
He only turns off his link for 10 minutes a day. And when he does, that's where you can find him.
But why? There's no traffic due in for a while. The dome's on standby. No one's there.
Exactly.
This guy reminds me of Riker.
All I'm asking is that you trust me.
Trust you. Londo, my brain will be...
Londo?
The first time we met you people, the first time we met any other civilization, you told us you practically ran the entire galaxy. Only that hasn't been true for almost 100 years. Then you give us this line about how Earth is some lost Centauri tribe, making us distant relatives. Appearances aside, we're two completely different species.
A clerical error.
A clerical error.
Yes, we thought your world was Beta 9. It was actually Beta 12. I'm sorry. Here, open my wrist.
Centauri don't have major arteries in their wrists.
Of course we don't. What do you think? I'm stupid?
Getting a whiff of Ferengi off this guy.
Our colony, Ragesh 3, our agricultural colony.
Yes, I know what it is. What about it?
It's under attack.
This is my guy from Animal House. This is Flounder. Well, it seems to be an armada.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind, 10 years after the Earth-Minbari War. This is the story of the last of the Babylon stations. The year is 2258. The name of the place is Babylon 5.
The last of the Babylons. Okay. I'm assuming the other ones. Commander Jeffrey Sinclair. Oh boy. I'll just stick with Jeffrey Sinclair for now. Wow, big cast. Huge cast. Holy shit.
I demand to know what information your government has concerning Ragesh 3.
We don't know anything more than you do. We know it's been attacked, but that's all.
What have you heard from Centauri Prime?
Nothing.
Okay, Centauri Prime is there.
I just heard.
Yes, you have my sincerest condolences for your losses.
You know nothing.
Wow, that alien looks cool on the left.
We're picking up a long-range distress signal from a ship near the secondary jump point. At first, I was afraid it had something to do with the attack on Ragesh 3, but it's an Earth-registered ship. And the last distress signal mentioned raiders.
Distress call.
Lieutenant Commander Ivanova.
Yes.
Ivanova. God.
commercial telepath, Psychor rating P5. I was assigned to Babylon 5 a few weeks ago. Psychor regulations require me to log in with the second in command. I've tried to reach you 3 times, but I guess you've been busy.
Then you'll excuse me, but I'm in the middle of 15 things, all of them annoying. Thank you for coming by.
You are dismissed. God, they're just gonna. I love it. They're just telling me, you catch up. We're gonna give you a bunch of stuff. Catch up. Story's going.
In other news, the race between incumbent Earth Alliance President Luis Santiago and challenger Marie Crane continues to tighten as Election Day nears.
There's an election.
Who do you think attacked the colony? The Narns, the Minbari?
Not the Minbari. It's not their way. They're too honorable to pull something like this.
I'm surprised to hear you describe the Minbari that way. After all, you fought them during the war.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The best way to understand someone is to fight him. Make him angry. That's when you see the real person. He said to ignore the propaganda. Focus on what you see. I've never seen the Minbari fight dishonorably.
Well, who's the other group that she said?
Who are you voting for?
I think I'll vote for Marie Crane. I do not like Santiago. I've always thought that a leader should have a strong chin. He has no chin, and his vice president has several.
Could you be blunter?
Notify Centauri Prime! Who would do this? Why? Under attack!
Do you recognize the ships?
That is a Narn heavy fighter.
Non?
There she is.
I kind of like their fighters. This X-Craft?
Check out the blast damage.
Roger.
She took a ton of damage.
We're talking major weaponry here. I don't like it. All right, let's find a black box and get back to base.
Roger.
It's amazing it's still as together as it is with those massive holes in those like subcompartments.
Ambassador Molari, please join me.
He's gonna walk up and punch you.
Just found out about it myself. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation.
What reasonable explanation is there for the slaughter of unarmed civilians?
What do you do with this?
We should have wiped out your kind when we had the chance.
What happened? Run out of small children to butcher?
You pig.
Yeah, how are you gonna get, I mean, 2 warring factions on the same, like, station?
Listen to me, Ambassador. Your time is come and gone. It's our turn now. One night you'll wake up and find our teeth at your throat.
The Non, if that's what they're called, really cool character designs. I love that alien design. They almost look like snakes in a way.
I apologize for the incident with Jakar, Commander. It was a mistake. I will not repeat it. I will kill him, though.
Well,
sooner or later.
That's sort of repeating it, isn't it?
We know how, and sometimes even when, we are going to die. Comes in a dream, huh?
Like a precog?
I am an old man. It's 20 years from now, and I am dying. My hands wrapped around someone's throat.
Going down swinging, huh?
Saw Jakar. I recognized him as the one from the dream. 20 years from now, one of us will be wiser and older, or one of us will be dead. Who's to say?
It's kind of an interesting thing. You can see your death.
Khan is my nephew. He wanted to enter the Centauri military. I told him it was a waste of his skills. So I personally arranged for him to have a higher position as head researcher on Ragesh 3.
The station?
I don't know if he is alive or dead.
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
But if this escalates into war, you'll give the Narns exactly what they want. A chance to divide us so they can move in.
It's Narn. Like yarn, but with an N. Okay.
Only one thing matters, Commander. Blood calls out for blood.
So war it is.
If it's the last thing I do, if it's the last breath I take, there will be war.
We don't seem to be, like, humanity doesn't seem, at the very least, an equal player. It doesn't look like we're in charge of anything.
There were 15 bodies on that ship we found. I mean, what's going on around here?
Wow.
The weapons they hit the supply ship with are bigger than anything the Raiders have ever used before.
Any idea where they'll hit next?
Not yet. Thing is, transport routes are kept secret so they can avoid being attacked like this.
If they got heavy weapons, Babylon 5 could be a target.
Ambassador Kosh, Commander Sinclair, can I see you?
Do they have a different atmosphere? That's cool shit right there. That is exceptionally cool stuff right there. Really like that.
You weren't at the council room earlier. I wanted to make sure you knew about the emergency session.
This actor has a very odd
You may need your help
delivery.
to push through sanctions.
Sanctions.
Will you attend the emergency meeting?
Yes.
It's like a Medusan. Is it just like a ball of energy?
They are alone. They are a dying people. We should let them pass.
Who? The Narn or the Centauri?
Yes.
Yes. So he's saying both the Narn and the Centauri should just...
All incoming ships log their flight path through your console. So I'm backtracking to find out which company sold the routes to those supply ships.
The emergency session can go to hell, and you can go to hell too. I wouldn't want you to feel left out.
Everyone could go to hell. Equal opportunity hell giver.
I finally received word from our glorious leaders. Do you know what that convention of genetic defectives have decided to do about the attack?
Convention of genetic defectives.
The great Centauri Republic, the lion of the galaxy, will do nothing.
So they're like an empire on the decline, right? I like it.
We have heard nothing. Is that clear? If we can get the others to step in, perhaps we can embarrass those idiots back home into doing something. Do you understand?
He does not understand.
Unlike me, the lieutenant commander takes a while to warm up to people, especially when she's working. Tell you what, when she gets off duty at 1800 hours, she always stops by the casino to wind down. That might be a good time to talk to her.
A casino to wind down? Interesting.
Afterward, if you like, you can stop by my quarters and I can show you my favorite thing in the whole universe. Okay, my second favorite thing in the universe.
I mean, are we supposed to infer that number one is like his penis? I mean, is that... It was like the worst pickup line ever. Why don't you just stop by and I'll show you my thing?
Into battle, I also need to walk in the green for a moment. We've recently managed to restore a few forests on my world.
Walk in the green. That is cool shit.
I will confess that I look forward to the day when we have cleansed the universe of the Centauri and carved their bones into little flutes for Narn children.
Jesus!
It is a dream I have.
It's a pleasant dream.
In our position, you would do the same. Our two worlds, our two species are more alike than you might think.
I love his design.
We've had plenty of experience with sneak attacks. Pearl Harbor, the terrorist nuking of San Diego, the destruction of our first Mars colony. It's a long and bloody history. That the sneak attack is the first resort of a coward.
Just a minute.
You didn't even have the decency to pick a military target, a poorly armed civilian colony. What a challenge that must have been to the great Narn military.
Wow.
In another place, I would have you skinned alive for saying that.
You want me? You know where to find me.
Sinclair, master of diplomacy.
One company sold the routes for all the supply ships that have been hit. Turns out their data crystal suddenly just blew out last month, flatlined the whole system. Only one ship booked before the data crash hasn't been attacked yet. My guess is they'll hit it in 6 hours when it comes out of hyperspace. There are over 500 men, women, and children on that ship. If the Raiders get there before we do, they're dead.
Wow.
Damn it, don't you realize that we've got an election in less than 24 hours?
That's what they're worried about.
The Earth Alliance can't go around being the galaxy's policeman.
Yeah.
If we pull out, others might do the same.
Not our problem. Those are your instructions. This discussion is concluded.
I actually agree with that.
Well, I hope they're loaded for bear. From what Garibaldi says, the Raiders are packing some pretty big guns, and that might be it. Tell Garibaldi to stand down. I'm taking his place with Delta Flight.
What?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find you before I left, so you never heard about any orders from Earth Central. The last thing you heard, we were voting for sanctions.
Jesus. Dude, this is above your pay grade to make this decision. I mean, I appreciate the support, but you're committing Earth to another intergalactic war? Damn, I mean, I do like those ships quite a bit. Oh, wow.
This meeting of the Babylon 5 Council and the League of Non-Aligned Worlds is called to order.
God, they're spending a lot of money on special effects. Holy smokes.
Please, the council.
Ambassador Jakar.
That dude in the back is awesome.
We recognize the prior claim, but the reality is that Ragash 3 has been Centauri property for over a century. A cycle of hatred.
Justice, not hatred.
Man, I see both sides. I think that's what we're supposed to do too, as the audience. You know, we don't have enough skin in the game yet. I see points on both sides.
High energy weapons discharge noted at coordinates 520 by 16 by 92.
Locking on.
They're already shooting?
Full thrusters. Maintain formation until contact.
Oh my God, they're all over that ship.
Our forces came for the peaceful liberation of Ragesh 3. We did not fire first, and I can prove it. I direct your attention to the monitors.
You rolled out of that wormhole blasting. I mean...
My name is Karn Malari. I am head researcher and project director.
Oh my God, it's his nephew.
Faced with chaos and anarchy, the Ragesh 3 Administrative Council asked for assistance from the neighboring Narn regime.
He's reading a prepared statement, everybody. Come on.
This is Karn Malari, Ragesh 3. Signing off.
Well...
Don't you understand?
I just noticed her ears are down by her jawline.
Is it not true that your own world has voted against taking any actions in response to the liberation of Ragesh 3?
Whew, they got spies all through the place.
This council should not be used to carry out your own personal vendettas. I move that this council now vote to dismiss all charges against the Narn regime. Is there a second?
There's nothing you can do about it, yeah.
This is Commander Jeffrey Sinclair of Babylon 5 to raiding party. Surrender your vessels or be destroyed.
Destruction it is.
And cut velocity now.
Pretty good maneuverability.
Delta leader, raiders are breaking off. Will we pursue and continue attack?
Yeah.
Deltas 2 through 6 plus 8, assume escort position and ferry her back to base. Delta 7 and 9 with me.
What are you two doing? Or three doing?
Commander, are we heading the wrong way? The raiders went in the opposite direction.
Exactly. Which is what I'd do if I wanted to decoy fighters away from a command and control ship.
Love it.
A CNC transport that looks a lot like that.
Light them up. What is this? Is it like a spy phone? Like a encoded transmitter or something? He's broken it down. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's a gun. I thought it was going to be some type of like specialized like transponder or something. You're not allowed to be armed on the station?
Blood calls out for blood.
Dude, this might be... She saw that.
Ambassador, no!
She have precog shit?
Garibaldi.
Yeah, Garibaldi's still there.
Mr. Garibaldi, get out of my way.
Or?
Go back to your quarters, Londo.
No.
Don't force me to make this official.
No!
Then official it is.
He's my blood, my nephew.
But if you kill Jakar, none of those colonists will get out alive. You have to know that. Ambassador.
The weapon.
In 1 hour, I'm going to have to check your quarters for weapons. Make sure I don't find anything.
Would you really have killed me?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, I would have. But I'm just as glad I didn't have to. The paperwork's a pain in the butt.
I like him. Garibaldi's good. So he's like station security or just like, is he supposed to be like third in command?
I understand there's a problem.
I'm afraid there is, Ambassador. And I'm afraid it's you.
Look what I found on the command and control ship.
Ruh-roh.
Your government always provides an advisor to show how to operate the weapons and to make sure they aren't resold to a third party.
When the ship docked and we went inside, we found these data crystals. They contain reports the captain here monitored between Ragesh 3 and Narn Central Command.
Oh boy.
Now, it seems to me that you have two choices. Tell your forces on Ragesh 3 to withdraw, or we bring this evidence to the council.
Well, the threat of the entire council's, like, races is apparently a very powerful one. He smiled, though, so I don't know about that.
Incumbent President Luis Santiago leads Marie Crane by 12%.
Looks like Santiago's heading for another victory. My man, they're nursing that shot.
Thank you.
With something floating on the top.
Oh, it was an accident, really. I've been trained to block out casual thoughts, but when you hit something that powerful...
I understand.
Does she not like to be around her because of her abilities?
My mother was like you, a telepath.
Really?
She wasn't trained. She was never able to use it well.
Well, that's why we have the Psi Corps, to help telepaths.
Psi Corps? Get that fuck out of here.
When they discover what you are, they give you three choices. You can either join the Psi Corps, or go to prison.
Or die.
Or agree to take certain drugs for the rest of your life. Drugs that inhibit your telepathic abilities. For 10 years, a man in a gray suit came to the door once a week. And he gave her the injections. They were strong.
These drugs are quick.
And when we thought she could go no further, she took her own life.
Wow.
Perhaps tomorrow we can start out on better terms.
I very much doubt it.
I mean, I get the not liking the Psi Corps, but...
And you want me to find Planet X, is that it?
Just is his second favorite thing in the universe?
Oh,
This is my second favorite thing in the universe.
Because there's... Had the silly thing in reverse.
She's still working on like one kernel, so...
We are declaring incumbent President Luis Santiago the victor, and a greater emphasis on preserving Earth cultures in the face of growing non-Terran influences.
And
So a bit of a nationalistic feel we're getting here. Gotcha.
lights and good night.
Commander, there's a problem.
Oh, I love that. Just as it goes dark, we hear Commander, there's a problem. That was really, really cool. Cool way to end that. All right, everybody, we just got done watching the very first episode of Babylon 5's Season 1, Midnight on the Firing Line. And the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just got done watching Midnight on the Firing Line, the very first episode of the first season of Babylon 5. Really cool stuff here so far. You know, again, because of my experience with The Expanse, you all, if you happen to watch me do The Expanse reactions, I don't mind this at all. If you're establishing a new world, it is my job. It is the audience's job to catch up. They can't stop every 5 minutes and have like a very inorganic, very kind of inserted, like, oh, this is who I am. Here's my like dating game biography as I tell you all these important facts about me and why I am currently in the very spot that I'm standing. We don't need that. We need to be able to catch up. You know, give us these things organically. Drop these little lines in here. You know, it took us, what, 15 minutes to kind of start figuring out what races were kind of adversarial or had been adversarial or, you know, had heated relations or had fought before, that type of stuff. That's really cool. And again, I just want those things to just the world has existed, you know, in our minds or whatnot. The universe of Babylon 5 has been living and breathing, and we just get dropped into it. It is not the universe's, you know, it's not its purview to be like, oh, we got a new one here, everybody. Let's stop everything and catch them up. It's not how it works. Now, and with that being said, there are series that will do that, you know, they kind of go out of their way to make sure that you're diving in with a full kind of bevy of explanation that happens in the first episode 2, 3, 5, or whatever it would happen to be. But, you know, I always find those things to be a bit stagnant because in doing explanations or, you know, retrospectives or whatever you want to call them as far as kind of like history and world building, it takes away from the moment and the tension. You know, it's like sitting in a classroom as opposed to being on the front lines or, you know, in some type of like high negotiations for like a peace treaty or something, which is where you organically learn about these things. And that's what Babylon 5 did. And I'm very glad for that. Couple things. I really, really, really dug. A lot of the races had a lot of the alien races had a lot of really cool like appearances, just character design. Uh, what's his name? The Narn ambassador. I thought he looked Jakar. I thought he looked absolutely awesome. I thought it was really good makeup. I mean, really good stuff. That brow work with all of that kind of like the reptilian spots that go down his head. I mean, exceptionally well done. I mean, it's a good time to note too that yes, are the special effects pale in comparison to what we have nowadays? Yes, but does that detract anything from the story for me? Absolutely not. I don't mind, special effects that are representative of the day at all. I'm never going to get taken out of something because of special effects. Now, with that being said, whenever there are exceptionally good special effects, state of the art special effects, or something I've never seen before, it can add to the story, sure, but I never let it detract from it. So, I mean, yes, they're dated special effects, but I'm telling you what, that makeup work was exceptionally well done. It's for me, and I'm a bit of an old school guy. A lot of these two like newer effects they use, where it's like part CG animation, part like actual like practical makeup and stuff. I'm not sure how much I enjoy that as I do somebody. I know it's awful for the actor to have to sit in a chair for like 12 hours to get this stuff applied, but damn, if you do it right, it looks real good. And that's what we had here in Babylon 5's first episode. I think they did an exceptional job of definitely establishing Londo. I thought that we got probably the most from him of any other character. We had one-on-ones with him and I want to call him Flounder, but it's Veer. Yeah, Veer was his kind of like a assistant. Who's I'm pretty sure it's Flounder from Animal House. His brother lent him the car and they turned it into the float after they destroyed it on a road trip. Animal House, everybody, a bit of a spoiler. But again, tangent over. I thought that we really got a lot about the Centauri. Now, I thought it was exceptionally fun how organically we found out about how, the Centauri people were basically bullshitted humanity, said they were this great star empire type of thing, and that, that we were related and all, just to kind of like get us into our confidence and become friends with us. And all of it was, utter horseshit. I really like the idea though, because I mean, using comparisons like Star Trek, where we have like the Romulan Star Empire and the Klingon Empire, those are all kind of expanding currently, like actively, like they're an empire by every definition. They are reaching out to acquire. They're not in any type of like stagnant or even like a regressive mode. It seems like the Centauri are definitely in at least the stagnation mode. Like they're a declining civilization, like an empire that is on the downhill. Like they're losing ground. They're losing different relationships and alliances. They're losing just like the clout, I guess, that maybe they used to have, because like what they call them, the Lion Empire or something like that, which apparently doesn't hold any water or weight anymore, at least to the rest of the universe. And having an idea of like Babylon 5 being an almost like a United Nations type of thing, where representatives, I'm assuming representatives from all of these kind of independent worlds and everything, sit to maintain a measure of peace so there isn't constant galactic war. It's a cool premise, especially if it's like, I don't know, I'm speculation being, if you have an aggressor like the Zarn were, if you say, okay, you can't do that, or you're going up against all of us. In theory, that type of stuff works. Now, I don't know what happens if you have a split vote. If you've got, seven, I don't know how many there are, but like 7 council members and 3 want to side with, the Zarn, and 4 want, I mean, what do you do then? Like, I mean, is it majority rules? I guess we'll have to see eventually when we get more workings with the council. So in theory, it's good. But just like in theory, the League of Nations and the United Nations was a good idea too. Hey, if we're all on the same side and somebody gets out of line, we can just, put them back in line. Sure, unless you've got some type of, benefit to be with the line crosser. And so again, it seems like a great system until it isn't. And so I'm very curious to see what kind of checks and balances they have in there, like politically, to keep that unit working. It appears to be working. It appears to, at the very least, the council meetings and things like that carry a weight to the home worlds that needs to be respected. And in many times, it looks like, if they declared war or sanctions or something like that, it would have to be honored by the home worlds in which, they represent it. At least that looks like it from my point of view. Really neat stuff. So let's drill down into what I'm assuming is the command crew for Babylon 5, being Sinclair, Garibaldi, and Ivanova seems like a bit of a hard ass to be like a hard ass's sake. They're Garibaldi seemed the most organic to me, you know, like as far as his presentation, his character seemed the most realistic. Everybody else seemed to be putting on a bit of an act. Full disclosure, I am way on the fence with the actor of Sinclair. And you know, I don't like to usually point out that, but it's something about his delivery, and it's something about his just presentation of the character that is a bit. I don't know why I don't know. I haven't experienced him enough to figure out why it's off-putting yet, but there's something about it that doesn't. Maybe not off-putting is the wrong word. There's something about it that I just don't believe. You know, like I'm not buying. I haven't bought into him yet. I definitely bought into Londo. Thought Londo was great. Garibaldi was great. I didn't write her name down, but the woman from Psyops or Psycor, the telepath. I thought she did a great job. I really liked the alien that was like a ball of energy that went into that one outfit. You know, almost like a housing for it. Really cool stuff there. Really with a different atmosphere. That was a really cool touch. I that probably sold me on the first episode. As soon as I saw Sinclair put on that mask to go into a different atmospheric environment, I thought, there we go. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for that extra little push, and that really triggered it for me. But with all that being said, they only have 40 some minutes to kind of introduce us to an entire world. So I certainly am not casting like in stone and cement the portrayals. And again, what I always think too, and it's usually a pretty good representation, like a pilot or an initial episode, every actor is still trying to figure out their character. They are all still trying, the writers, the creatives are still trying to figure out dynamics, still trying to figure out just a lot of the things that will eventually become second nature to them as far as they get to understand what characters like one another, what characters can work together, what characters are adversarial. You know, that becomes easier for the actors and the creatives as they bleed into this a little bit more. But I think that they did a really good job. And a lot of you have kind of said, you know, oh, well, you know, Babylon 5 does a lot of things like The Expanse. You know, they talk about things in one season that doesn't really have a payoff for like 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons later. So again, kind of armed with that knowledge without it being spoiled in any way of what I should be looking for, I'm looking at all the background shit. I'm like, oh, Santiago won the election. I wonder what that means. Write that down. You know, just because I'm thinking to myself, you know, is Santiago going to be some type of, and again, they kind of cast him as being a bit nationalistic, you know, keep us out of war, focus on ourselves, you know, that type of stuff. So I'm curious as to see how that progresses, especially with the threat of at least a Zarn type of problem, or yeah, a type of problem kind of brewing, especially with these pirates and weapon sales and things like that. It's always cool too to have a character like, and again, I keep looking down here because I'm still getting these characters in my head. But what's the Zarn's name? Jakar. God, that's an easy one too. Jakar looks amazing, right? And he comes across as one of these really cool characters that, you know, could know full well that his people are attacking your people, but he has a very pleasant conversation and discussion with you, knowing full well that the next conversation that you have is probably going to be a lot less friendly. And I love characters like that can put on a face, that can act a specific way, you know, that are just so shrewd at negotiations and interpersonal relations that they're able to completely camouflage themselves until they can't, until they're presented with facts beyond the ability to kind of manipulate. And but that again, we were told a ton about Jakar in this episode as far as what we can expect from him, at least in the short term going forward. Friends, I'm liking it. I'm liking it quite a bit. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time we go live. And of course, if there's anything that we do with Babylon 5, of course, included, the link to our Patreon is in the description if you want it early or you want it in its full-length format. And again, stick with us on YouTube memberships if you're not a fan of Patreon, and you'll get all the episodes about a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye. And as is our way here on the channel, what we like to do is we're the Greek chorus. We are an essential element to the storytelling process. We are watching the story. We're the ones that go out and spread the story. We're the ones that say, hey, you should see this. So we carry a vital import when it comes to the telling of tales. So whenever we say goodbye from a specific episode, I like to say goodbye from some space within that specific episode, placing us for at least a moment inside the actual space. And I think what we'll do today, since this is our first time being here, The airlock opens, my friends, and the cargo ship that brought us to Babylon 5 is beginning to get refueled for its continued voyage to points beyond. But for us, our journey ends here, or it starts here, as we enter Babylon 5. Friends, until such time as we can continue our journey, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.